Welcome to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, a show needs an intro. This is that intro. I am Fisher, your host. Got on a little early today. Does not make up for all those times I was really freaking late. Good morning and welcome to the Wake.Show. I am tired. I did not sleep last night. All right, let's do a little sharing before we get going today. Got a few stories. Got a lot of dog stories today. One of them's not a good one, but I got to bring it up anyway. But I got a couple of cool ones as well. And only a couple of days until vacation, and I'm sure you can tell on your end. We are live. By we, I mean me. All right. And then Chris McCarty will be back on. Hey, Pat, how you doing, buddy? Chris McCarty will be back on Friday, I think, as we go into the vacation, go into a break. So, how's everybody doing? I don't know why, but I did not sleep last night. Here's the random conversation generator. If you were in the witness protection program, what name would you take? What name would you choose? Are you allowed to choose your own name when you go on the witness protection program, or does the government give it to you? And where would you go? What little town somewhere in the United States would you try to spend the rest of your days without people knowing who you are? You want me? Okay, I'll go first. Since I put it up there, already thought of one. I put a lot of thought into this because hi, Kimber. I put a lot of thought into this because if I were like to, all of a sudden, just come up with some cool name like, hi, my name is Drake Callahan or something. I don't know. Is that a cool name? I would remember it. All of a sudden, somebody would be going, Drake, and I wouldn't turn around. So I was thinking, can you pick your like a version of your dad's name? Because I was thinking like David Frank would be kind of cool, which is my dad's first name and middle name, David Frank. So I'd go by David Frank, and then the town, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Why? I'm not sure. That's just, I'll tell you why. Colorado Springs, I've always had there's something in my head, and I've never been there, and I want to go there. Or Boulder, right? Where was Mork and Mindy set? That was Boulder, right? I wouldn't mind hiding out in the hometown of Mork. Or his Earth hometown. So there you go. That's your random conversation starter today. If you were in the witness protection program, what would your new name be, and where would you go? So why couldn't I sleep last night? I'm not sure. Here's a couple of things that I'm working. Here are a couple of theories that I'm working on here. And when I'm talking about not sleeping, I mean literally laying down and just not being able to go to sleep all night. Now, sometimes when that happens, you're like, is that true? Did I really lay awake all night, or was there an hour or two that I did fade away and come back and it didn't seem like I was sleeping? But man, it did not. I don't think I had any of that sleep last night. So I had a gig, all right? Stayed a little later than I wanted to. It was raining. Couldn't load up my equipment. Got home late. Had some alcohol, so that can always be a contributing factor. Like 3 shots of tequila, no beer, no wine. Didn't eat all the food I should have yesterday, and my gallon of water. Ow. I can't imagine myself with a different name, but whatever it is, it would be generic, and I'd want it to be in Hawaii. Oh, good one. Yes. I guess you might as well pick Paradise. What am I doing thinking of Colorado Springs, where you're going to get snowed in? So anyway, yesterday I only drank about half of the water I was supposed to drink. And so I guess I feel like maybe I was just dehydrated, and so I was also nervous. I had an audition this morning. Pat Largo, I'm sure can relate to this. I guess I've auditioned before. This is different though. This isn't like going to a casting call and I'm sitting in a room with a bunch of people. They call me in an audition. It's one of those things where I sit down, record my voice onto something, send it to somebody, and then they'll decide what happens. And there is a little bit of anxiety with it because I am excited about it. If I end up getting this, it'll be something that's really cool. But here's, I'm not getting excited about it. I made my first demo. Can I play it for you guys? I made my first, and it wasn't even a real demo. It was more like a demo to give to my old friends at 97X to go, hey, I dislike auditions. I love direct bookings. That's got to be different too, Pat. When you're in a room and you're sitting there with other people and they're reading their lines or whatever, then you go in there to, I'm sure that's a completely different anxiety. yeah, this was just sitting down in the studio here and then reading lines and sending it off. But so I made a tape to send to my old friends at 97X. And I told we were just talking. I was talking to a program director and or assistant program director, and she asked me what I thought of the radio station, since I've left. And I go, well, to be honest with you, I don't listen to the radio all the time, but when I do, the radio stations that I listen to the most are 97X for music, and then 102 because I like to hear talk, and I can't stand listening to AM talk anymore because it's just nothing but fear and hate mongering. So 97X and 102.5, the Bone, are my two go-tos. So all right, well, what do you think? I go, I think the music is spot on. I love it. As a matter of fact, I'm a little jealous because back when I was at 97X, we were more rock-based, Stained, and Chevelle, and, all this, that kind of stuff. And listen, there were some good songs. There were, some nice rock songs, but I was a little bit more of the poppy, indie, alternative kind of guy. And that's what the radio station is now. Yes. The trends, I couldn't hang in there long enough for the trends to catch up to me. But anyway, I said, so the radio station sound. I go, but there's one thing, I really don't like your new voice guy. I'm not trying to be like a hater. There's just something about him. I'm listening, and this song sounds good. And you go to that, your jock Sam is tight, and then the new voice guy just doesn't sound good. So I'm going to make you a tape. And she's like, all right, go right ahead. So anyway, I make this tape, and I'm going to play it for you here in a second. It's just audio, it won't be video. And anyway, that led to an audition for something else, not for 97X, but for something else pretty big. And there's no reason to say what it is because you never know how these things are going to go. And if something happens, you guys will be one of the first to know. But here's the demo. Here's the demo that I sent. Here, let me do this for I'll put my face on. Here we go. 97X, Tampa Bay's new alternative. Alexa,
what?
Play 97X.
Don't tell me what to do.
Tampa Bay's alternative. WSUN Holiday, Tampa, St. Pete, and now 102.5 WHBT HD2 Sarasota, a Cox Media Group station. You are listening to 97X. Good for you. We're so glad you're here because we're stage 5 clingers, and if you weren't here, we'd be having a panic attack.
I really need to stay happy.
Please don't ever leave us. Interactive, in tune, in your ear hole.
Wow, this is so weird.
97X. The next time you feel the urge to text your ex,
We need to talk.
don't. It's a bad idea. This is a good idea. Play more 97X. If someone asks you what radio station you listen to, be sure to tell them to mind their own damn business. Now back to Tampa Bay's alternative, 97X.
3, 2, 1, exit.
I'm impressed.
Thanks for listening. So that's that, right? I made that and gave it to my friends over there. Now, if you were to do official voiceover work, you wouldn't turn that in because you'd want your demo would be multiple stations. You'd have different kinds of reads. But I was just like, hey, having some. But anyway, I got done with it and realized I'm like, man, I don't sound like 97X either. That sounds more like a 98 Rock, like a rock, RAWK, rock, 98 Rock, 101.1 WJRR, the cutting edge of rock. And so anyway, I haven't heard back from any of my friends over at 97X, but I did hear back from somebody else and said, hey, would you be interested in auditioning for something else that I'm not going to share right now, just for jinxing reasons, and so I was like, sure, let's do it. So I cut some lines this morning and sent it over, and somebody else is going to produce it and put it together, and we'll see how it turns out. But wish me luck on that one. I'm very excited. But I'm not putting all my eggs in the basket. I'm not getting overly excited. Oh my gosh, if I get this. It's more like I'm starting down the road of voiceover work for the first time in my career, which is dumb. I should have started this a long time ago. And the person that I'm working with, Stan Fisher, is telling me that this whole process is going to take about 6 months. So to me, I'm just in the beginning of whatever it is I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. And if I just happen to land this first audition, then that is going to be an incredible story. But probability dictates that, you'll go on 20 or 30, 40 auditions before you land something. Wow, thank you, Pat Largo. Wow, you sound polished. I've never heard your imaging before. I love when you use the filter too. Yeah, and that was all me too. I did it on GarageBand. you know how it is, Pat Largo. Once you get to a market this size in Tampa, you don't do your own production anymore. When I was in smaller markets, Tallahassee and Daytona Beach, you did your own production. And I loved doing production. Loved it. Loved sitting there in the studio and putting together a 30-second or 60-second commercial. I'd spend way too much time on it in my younger days because, this perfectionism, and I want every single one of them to be a piece of art. But anyway, so I put all that together and did it on GarageBand. So the mixing is not that great, and I used whatever effects there are on GarageBand to figure that out. Susan, easy. Layla Clapton and Somewhere in South America. Easy. Layla Clapton and Somewhere in South America. Oh, so your name would be Layla Clapton. And if you're in the witness protection program, I don't think you can go overseas. I think you're confined to American soil. You know what? It's an imaginary scenario that we're throwing out there today. We don't have to have any parameters. So there you go. Layla Clap. Hi, what's your name? Layla Clapton. Oh, my parents were huge fans. I like that one, and that's a cool one too because you can remember that one. The opposite of Maribel's. Maribel's, she has to pick something like Amy Smith in order, to have it stick. But you pick something like Layla Clapton, someone goes, Layla, they're talking to me. All right, let's get to a couple kids. I have nothing in me today. I literally, as far as I can recall, I did not get a second of sleep last night. So, not a lot of great news today. So we got a couple things this weekend. Who's taking advantage of the tax-free back to school tax-free weekend this weekend? Everything you need to know coming from abcactionnews.com. So starting August 3rd, 12:01 a.m., qualifying items will be exempt from the sales tax. Do you guys rush out for that? Is it? I mean, listen, I would imagine it's worth it if you are, especially if you got a couple of kids, and you wait until this weekend to do all your shopping for the school year. Man, I bet that does save you a lot of money. But here's the rub: clothing, footwear, and certain accessories selling for $60 or less. So sorry, rich kids. You're going to have to pay taxes. Oh, I know it's not fair. Always putting the burden on the rich. Certain school supplies selling for $15 or less per item. And the sales tax holidays does not apply to any of the clothing items that are over $60. Any school supply items selling for more than $15. So, what about these backpacks? So, because these backpacks are expensive. And now you got to get, armored plating or whatever. I'm sure that's not cheap. I'm sure that's not $15, that little plate that they're putting. What a weird time we live in. Did you see the story last week where you're watching these kids that get their back in the little bulletproof armor thing that they're sliding in there? What the? If we have kids, I mean, who knows how life's going to play out, with my wife and I. But I'm going to do everything. I don't know. I'm going to try to figure it out so by the time they're going to school, we can homeschool them or something. I don't know. I don't know about this with the schools these days. All right, Shannon, I need spiral notebooks, pencils, and papers and index cards. Don, have a couple kids, and they couldn't pay me to shop during that weekend. It's not worth the savings. That's what I was thinking, too. I'm like, man, I think I'd pay the extra money just not to deal with everybody that's going out. Books that are otherwise exempt, rentals or leases of any eligible repairs or alterations, and sales of eligible items in a theme park. Okay, so so if you can find something from a theme park that's under $60, that doesn't count either. You're not allowed. You can't have Mickey Mouse. You can't buy Mickey Mouse stuff and not pay sales tax for it. So, all right. Well, good luck everybody who will be out shopping this weekend. Smoking is now banned in public housing nationwide. Back when this was tossed around a few years back, residents who live in public housing anywhere in the United States must now adhere to a new smoke-free housing rule from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Well, how do you guys feel about that? Everyone deserves the opportunity to lead a healthy life, and ensuring homes are free from the risks of secondhand smoke is a critical step for the health of residents, said the American Lung Association, blah, blah, blah. This is especially true for children and those who are more vulnerable to the impact of secondhand smoke, such as those living with asthma. And today we're making a healthier future for Ohio and our nation. I get it. If you're getting assistance from the government, then the government gets some say in your life. Well, I understand the argument. I don't know if I fully buy into it or not. Is this in the same category as when a few years ago, was it Rick Scott? I think it was Rick Scott there in the beginning, had tossed out the idea of drug testing for who was it? Those receiving. Yeah, so if you're on welfare or get any kind of assistance like that, then you are subject to drug tests and whatnot. And to me, I'm like, okay, fair, because you're like, hey, you're living off the public dole. Then we can't have you just sitting around doing drugs. You need to be getting up and trying to get back to work or fix yourself or do whatever it is you got to do. Okay, but my argument then was like, okay, if you're going to go down that path, then all government officials, all state officials, anybody that's getting money from the state, then should be under that same umbrella, including all the legislators, the governor, anybody whose paycheck comes from our taxes should go through the same thing as well. But let's go back to this thing. So now the government says, I hate smoking, hate it vehemently. As soon as I smell a whiff of it, I want to punch something. I might be exaggerating a little bit. Sharon, I hate smoking, but I don't know how I feel about telling people they can't smoke at home. But then when I hear about the kids, then I feel bad for the kids. They could get sick from the smoke. Right. But see, that's that slippery slope that we always have to be careful with. And I feel like it's a trick when they go, what about the kids? What about the kids? What about the kids? Public housing, you can't smoke. Is it just indoors? Can you go out on the patio and smoke? So the ban applies to any kind of lighted pipe, cigar, vape device, cigarette, or other lighted smoking device. It applies to all housing authority employees, residents, guests, and visitors. Violators will be warned. The rule will protect close to 2 million Americans nationwide from being exposed to secondhand smoke, including 690,000 children. Okay, I guess as long as it's smoking, you can step outside and do. But again, I hate smoking. I hate it. I think the tobacco companies are as evil gets, and you have such an addictive substance, make it even more addictive, and then just sit back and watch the millions come in from us primates that can't help. Oh, you have a first couple, and all of a sudden it's anxiety for the rest of your days, and you're gonna have to have a pack or two a day. Public housing should come with free vape pens. Well, I guess vapes are out too. A lot of house rentals write in their leases that you can't smoke inside because of the nicotine residue left in the walls. Fair enough. And the smell that is impossible to get out. Fair. I agree with you. I understand. Since this should be temporary housing for most of these people anyway, you're right. So no smoking inside. If you're going to smoke outside. I guess, all right, I'm okay with it. Thank you, Maribel, for helping me clear that up for me. All right, some of the dog stuff from today. I don't have a rocks. Whoa, what the? Oh, this idiot. Okay, so this is coming from myfoxnews2.com. And all right, so I've got 3 stories now about dogs. The first one sucks, okay? This a-hole is right here in Hernando County, and he's accused dog abuser, opens up Top Dog Training School. And so let me get to some of the details of this because you have to watch out for these idiots. A convicted felon accused of abusing animals opened a dog training school just days after being released from prison. Videos and photos of a man using the alias Ryan Smith appear on the Facebook page for Top Dog Rescue Boarding and Training, a canine training school based in Hernando. And they describe it. He describes it as a nonprofit. Quote, "We only use no negative reinforcement, only positive reinforcement," the proprietor tells prospective customers in online video. I'd like to repeat that to you because that's definitely Hernando County. We only use no negative reinforcement. We only use no negative reinforcement. They investigated and learned that the self-described dog trainer is actually Robert Ryan Friedler, a convicted felon who's been arrested on more than a dozen times for crimes including child abuse, battery, and grand theft. In 2016, they were warned about Friedler's previous business called Kids Canine Rescue Training, where he promised to train service animals for children with special needs. This is where it's going to start to get ugly, by the way. This is where you start to want to get angry and throw stuff. My husband and I were just in tears when she was given back to us in her condition. Her feet were so bloody, and she has open sores on them. According to Walton, the charity Runway to Hope paid Fiedler nearly $3,000 to train their Doberman Pinscher to assist their then 9-year-old daughter with Down syndrome. So this guy scams these people out of $3,000. He's supposed to train the dog to assist their 9-year-old daughter with Down syndrome. And he scammed them. Quote, she was so underweight, you could see all the bones, all her ribs, her hip bones, everything. Describing their dog's malnourished appearance. It claims her German Shepherd also came back from Friedler's program in poor condition. Quote, he was skinny. He had scratches all over him. He had patches of fur coming out. Jessica Lum said they gave Fiedler a $2,500 down payment for a trained German Shepherd to comfort their teen son who suffers from severe anxiety. Quote, he was a mess, says Lum, who claims the dog was not properly trained and frequently whined. I just can't believe what that monster would do to it, According to those past customers, Friedler did not use his real name, instead identifying himself as Ryan Thompson back then. So he's sent to prison. After a customer complaint about the dog training business began to surface in February of 2016, they ended up getting him for violating his probation in an unrelated domestic abuse case. So that's how he ended up behind closed doors. This other person goes, quote, I think he is a psychopath, said his former girlfriend, who claims she suffered facial fractures, broken ribs, and a collapsed lung at the hands of this guy. He enjoys hurting other people and animals that can't fight back. And this guy is walking around. This guy was walking around taking people's money. So this is a story that just makes you angry, right? It reminds you, just be careful. Be careful to, what your, do your due diligence, especially when it comes to your kids and your dogs, your animals. Let's see. Thanks for talking about this story. We need to keep our pets and kids safe. You are very welcome. I shared it on my Facebook page. I encourage everyone to do it also. And I know my wife shared it. That's where I saw it. My wife shared it. I go, wow, pretty interesting. Thanks for the show prep, hon. So anyway, well, whatever. So that guy's off the streets for now. And when you read the details of the story too, you really question our justice system. How do people like this end up back out among the public? Now to one awesome. Well, it's a heart wrencher, but it's beautiful. And then I've got the dog photographer of the year, 2018. We'll go through some photographs and go a couple of times before we move on with our day. Okay, like I said, this is a tearjerker. It's a feel good. Cody's last wish. So here's Cody. Saying goodbye to a furry friend is never easy, but one Ohio family has found. I'm not even a sentence into it. I'll blame it on the lack of sleep. Blame it on the lack of sleep. Blame what? What the tears that are about to come. Saying goodbye to a furry friend is never easy, but one Ohio family has found a way to give their dog comfort during his final days, and Burger King is helping out. See, Cody has been a loyal member of Lynn Morris's family in Toledo for nearly a decade. About 2 months ago, they received devastating news that Cody had terminal cancer. He was given 1 to 3 months to live. According to a tweet written by Morris's son, Alec, on Sunday, the family brainstormed about how they could make the last leg of their pet's life as wonderful as... Maybe I'll just leave it up here for you guys to read. What better way to satisfy a sick dog than by indulging him in a juicy cheeseburger every day for the rest of his days? Well, the Morris family members have usually been making burgers at home for Cody. On Sunday, the family stopped at a local Burger King and placed their somewhat peculiar order. Karcher tweeted that the employee was curious as to why the entire family ordered one plain cheeseburger. So when they told her Cody's story, she immediately zipped off to the back, came back with a manager's approval to treat Cody to his favorite meal every day for his remaining days for free. And I guess according to the story, too, it's not the first time that a Burger King employee has rushed to help someone at the drive-in. Quote, I can't explain how much this means to us and my family, and we are beyond appreciative. In response, Burger King's corporate account tweeted, quote, the world needs more of kindness and empathy, more kindness and empathy. One tweeter thought this act of kindness was humanity at its best. Some praised the restaurant's employee for understanding how much love an animal can give. And another tweeter agreed treating a dying dog with delicious treats was a wonderful thing, too. Fantastic, amazing, and inspirational story. Thanks so much for opening up and sharing. We did the same for our pit bull when she had a month to live with a bad sarcoma. Our girl loved Burger King and other treats as well. Whew, now back to my tears. All right, enough of that. Like I said, today is going to be a short one. And then we'll see how tomorrow goes, because tonight's my late night at Park and Rec doing karaoke. Come on out. Let's do some karaoke tonight. What's your go-to? What's your go-to when you do karaoke? Back in the day, it was Plush by Stone Temple Pilots. Not that I could sing it. I would just kind of fake my way. I'd ham my way through it. Where the dogs to find her? Got time to wait for tomorrow. But these days, try to keep it easy. Johnny Cash. Down. Or some Beastie Boys. Well, anyway, that's tonight, and everyone's tonight, Park and Rec, 8 to midnight. So, that brings us to this. Dog Photographer of the Year 2018 in Pictures. The Kennel Club has announced the winners of its Dog Photographer of the Year competition. Monica van Dermaden was the overall winner with an image of Noah, the Great Dane, seemingly alone in the forest. And that's this picture right here. It is really, that is a pretty cool picture. Let me pull down the graphic here so you can get a better view there. Yeah, that is a pretty cool picture. A little Great Dane puppy. So, that's first place. So let's just go through some, just relax, breathe. First place, Dogs at Work, a group shot of spaniels and retrievers after a hard day's work by Tracy Kidd from the UK. Second place, Dogs at Work, Tarly, an English Springer Spaniel in Ashdown Forest in the UK, taken by Richard Lane. That's a cool shot there. You can tell the dog's on the hunt, got his nose down. See the steam coming off of his fur? That's pretty cool. This is a good one. Get all 3 dogs looking at the camera. Third place, Dogs at Play. Sarah Beeston took this photo of Nova Scotia duck tolling retrievers, Daffy, Taz, and Wiley, playing with a Frisbee in Indiana, United States by Sarah Beeson. Pretty dogs. Oh, yeah, that's a good one right there. Judges mention portrait. Jonathan Yeasley took this image of Tati, an English Cocker Spaniel. Solid. Judges mentioned Dogs at Work. Thoven, the Golden Retriever by Leslie Plessler. That's a cool picture. What a cool name, Thoven or Thoven. Judges mentions Dogs at Play. Ted, a miniature poodle, slams on the brakes at the beach in the UK. Ooh, it's a good one. First place portrait, 3 flat-coated retrievers, Crew, Darcy, and Pagan by Carol Durant from the UK. There's a couple more for you. Puppies. Second place, Beagle Mix Puppies, United States. Look at that one. Judges mentioned portrait, Yorkshire Terrier, Amy. Yeah. I always love when dogs have like people. I just love it when they have people names. Amy, come on in. Steve. Hey, Paul. First place, Man's Best Friend. That is solid. Second place, Oldies, a rescue dog, Nilo. Look at that, the gray on that muzzle. It's got some wisdom in those eyes. And there you go. There's the 2018 Photographer of the Year and some other photographs to go along with it as well. Well, there's a part of me that wants to apologize for things being so short today. Yeah. Sharon says, I remember you singing that one a lot. She's talking about Stone Temple Pilots Plush, and she's talking about the Wednesday nights where we met, right? Is that where we met, Sharon, or did we meet long before then, and then you guys started to come out there? But, yeah, there's a part of me who wants to apologize for this show being so short today and, not as chock full of substance as it should be. So I'm going back to bed because I got a long night tonight. We only have 2 more days left before we have vacation. And don't forget, on Friday, Chris McCarty will be back in here, and we'll have the Shame Game as well. So you guys have a great day, and come out to Park and Rec tonight if you want to do some karaoke. I'll see you out there. Otherwise, Thursday night, Masteries, St. Pete Beach, Blind Pass. Excuse me. We'll do trivia again starting at 7 o'clock. Have a great day. Be safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.